Think of moving stones heavier than elephants, all without trucks, machines, or cranes. Think of making a monument so flawless it would stand for over 4,500 years. How did ordinary people, residing in ancient times, pull this off? The answer lies in the Great Pyramid and the lives of the workers each day as they went about building it. The Great Pyramid of Giza, that marvel of the ancients that stands even now. Did a man build it with whipped slaves in the sun? Today we find out how the pyramid was built and step into the daily life of its builders. The Great Pyramid of Giza. For several millennia, it remained one of the topmost human accomplishments. Indeed, the scale struck quite staggering. The question that has fascinated historians and archaeologists, not to mention the ordinary layman, is: how was it built? Was it really the work of slaves? Was it aliens, as some of the most bizarre theories would want us to believe? Or was it something far more human and far more extraordinary? To get to this, we'll have to go back in time, not just to the desert plains of Giza, but into the lives of the men and women who built this giant tomb. Who built the pyramid? For centuries, popular belief painted a picture. Workers toiling under the scorching Egyptian sun. Even ancient Greek historians like Herodotus suggested this. But modern archaeology has given us a very different story. Archaeologists working around Giza in the 1990s uncovered a series of workers' villages and burial sites. What they found changed the whole picture. Not evidence of mistreatment, but rather homes, bakeries, and even cemeteries full of honored burials of pyramid workers. They were not slaves. They were skilled laborers, well respected for helping to build a place for the pharaoh to rest eternally. It is a common belief now that tens of thousands of Egyptians, farmers, craftsmen, engineers, and laborers participated in building the pyramid through an organized method. Most were just simple farmers who took part in construction work during the flood season of Nile River, covering their fields and when farming was impossible to carry out. Instead of staying idle, they worked for the pharaoh. This is not slavery. This is service and duty, and perhaps even national pride. The workforce, the number of people who built the Great Pyramid, has varying estimates, but most archaeologists agree that between 20,000 and 30,000 workers at any one time were used. This workforce included skilled artisans who carved stone blocks with only copper chisels and dolerite pounders, engineers and architects who planned the building so that every block would be right in line, laborers who hauled massive stones using sledges and ropes, support staff, others who performed the cooking, the baking, the brewing, running errands for water, and physicians' work. Yes, doctors. Another clue is that workers were going after medical treatment, which probably includes setting fractured bones. Some skeletons show some well-healed fractures, meaning the workers must have been attended to and allowed time to recover. These were not the story of expendable slaves, but of a community organized as a small city, organized in one colossal mission. The tools and techniques. Each stone varied from 2 to 15 tons in the Great Pyramid. To move even one of these without the aid of modern machines is well nigh impossible. But the Egyptians did it millions of times. New findings give rise to a ramp and sledge system. Laborers most probably pulled stones on wooden sledges over sand where water had been poured. Wetting the sand reduced friction so that it was easier to pull heavy loads. Most probably a series of ramps, straight ramps, zigzagging ramps, and circular ramps wrapping around the pyramid have been used. The exact method is still debated. However, most logically, it was achieved through the use of ramps. Soft limestone was carved with copper tools, and harder stones, such as granite, were shaped by dolerite pounders. Accuracy was attained through measurements made using ropes, a plumb bob, and leveling tools. Astonishingly, the pyramid was aligned just a hair off of the cardinal directions, namely north, south, east, and west. To this day, it provides a truer alignment than many a modern building. Daily life of the pyramid builders. So what did a day in the life of these workers look like for the workers themselves? They were distributed into teams having names, mostly such poetic names as the Friends of Khufu or the Drunkards of Menkaure, a touch of humor to their grim existence. Food and drink. The workers were probably well fed, as the excavations yielded remains of cattle, sheep, goats, and fish, accompanied by copious quantities of bread. Their daily drink had been beer thick, wholesome, and full of calories. It was not a drink only, beer which acted as fuel for long working hours of labor. Some approximations say each worker consumed about 4 liters of beer per day. Living conditions. Their houses were quite simple, mainly mud brick structures with tiny rooms, often shared with others. Nevertheless, compared to poverty in other areas, pyramid workers were in a better condition. There were bakers, brewers, and medical care was accessible. Work routine. The day starts early for the teams to bring stones or carve blocks or bring the supplies. It was tiring, but structured and organized. Teams were playing against each other, and graffiti found in the pyramids shows that workers were proud of their accomplishment. Community and honor. What is perhaps most surprising is that many of the laborers who died during construction were buried in tombs near the pyramids, something that is usually reserved for respected citizens. It all goes to show the profound respect the Egyptians had for those building the pharaoh's eternal resting place. The legacy of the builders. The Great Pyramid was not just a tomb for Pharaoh Khufu. It was a statement of power, faith, and eternity. To those ancient Egyptians, constructing the pyramid became an act of worship. By working on the pyramid, they believed they were guaranteeing the pharaoh's eternal life. Laborers also thought they would receive their own spiritual reward. Beyond religion, the pyramid speaks to humanity. Common people, by uncommonly great effort, build something that has outlasted empires, kingdoms, and centuries. Today, the pyramid still stands, not only a monument to Khufu, but as a monument to the thousands of workers whose sweat, skill, and spirit made it possible. So how was the Great Pyramid built? Not by slaves, not by aliens, but by tens of thousands of skilled, determined Egyptians, with simple tools, clever engineering, and above all, unity. The Great Pyramid is more than just stones stacked in the desert. It is the story of a people who 4,500 years ago showed what humans can achieve when they come together for a common purpose. And that, perhaps, is the real wonder of the ancient world.